How is it going, folks? Welcome back to episode number 59 of Park to Prem. There is so much to cover today. I'm terrified I'm going to forget something. We're going to run the intro straight away, and then, I really do mean this, we're getting straight into things. Hopefully you lovely lot are doing absolutely amazing. Let's start on the club profile screen where our owner status is in the process of a board takeover. Yeah, we might be losing Brian number 2. These takeover rumours have been rumbling on for a while. I wish I had more to tell you. It looks like it's going to be a local investor. I suppose the main issue and concern for me is ensuring that I don't lose my job as a result of this takeover. And of course, Brian Melvin left, Brian number 2 came in. Who knows, we might be awaiting the arrival of a third Brian at this rate. Now, in some other news, I have signed a new contract to the club. We were on £210 a week, I think it was. It might have been 220. It's a big wage bump this year, everyone. I'm now on £230 a week. Yeah, that is literally how much money they were willing to give me. I don't understand it either. I forgot to cover this last episode, but we have had our youth candidate preview. It looks promising. A for wingers, A for strikers, a couple of C's in there as well. That will be happening this month. I don't think it will happen this episode, although I could be wrong. If the thumbnail involves youth intakes, then you know it happens today. And on top of all of that, since last episode, I signed 4 new players. I sold some players as well. Firstly, Ferrarinson. Yeah, obviously he agreed to go to Dundee. Still fuming about that. He's valued at £5.2 to £6.2 million. How much did I manage to get them to pay for him? £100,000. I mean, it's still technically 4 times what we made before. So, great business. It could have been 5 million. The other player I've sold might come as a little bit of a shock. Ryan Morgan has left the building. The 23-year-old, of course, was one of our player of the years last year, but this year I gave him opportunities, didn't really step up in the championship, and fundamentally, he's not been a core part of the first team. So when Middlesbrough bid £4 million for him, I just kind of felt like I had to say yes. So I have signed replacements for both a striker and a left back. Elsewhere, a load of players left on loan. Sean Nesbitt is going to go over and play in Scotland. Getting some regular minutes for him I think is going to be great for his development. And another player who left us on deadline day was Javain McCulloch. I gave him chances in the first team last year. He wasn't good enough. Couldn't get a permanent move for him in the summer. Couldn't get a permanent move away for the club from him in January. And so he's gone to Notts County, where I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of coming around to the fact probably not getting any money for him before his contract's up at the end of next year. Now, we have actually broken our record transfer, spending £3 million. We'll talk about that player in the moment. He is Swedish. We'll talk about the other Swedish player we picked up for £600,000, Mada Niale here. This guy, 23 years old, we picked him up from Hacken. He is a player who, I'm going to be honest, he has the mentals of a peanut in everything that isn't important for a striker. I look at him as an advanced forward and he ticks all the boxes. He's not going to be able to do any other role for us, probably, besides poacher. But, I mean, the man was born to score goals. 17 finishing, 17 composure, 16 off the ball. Good physicals as well, minus the whole aerial ability thing. So far, 5 goals in 8 games. I don't want to say it too loudly. Ferrarinson out for 100k. This guy signed for 600. Maybe we're going to have the last laugh. So one Welsh left-back left us for 4 million. I signed the Welsh national team left-back for less than that. £1.2 million for Nick Lloyd-Jones, 23 years old, 11 caps for Wales. I'll let you judge him, but when we compare him with Ryan Morgan, I definitely don't view him as a downgrade. Not quite as quick, but definitely a more complete fullback option. And ultimately, he was happy to join us as a squad player. And for the price we paid, £1.2 million, I do feel like we got a little bit of a bargain. He's not played amazingly since joining us, but he's not an outrageous money, and I think he's just going to be a good, useful squad player for us. On top of that, I signed another Welsh left-back. Apparently, I have a weird obsession with Welsh left-backs. Andy Johnson, perhaps the most generic, boring name in the history of names, Andy Johnson. Sorry if Andy's watching from home. 20 years old, left-back, capped at under 21s level for Wales. We've signed him from Man City for £300,000, has bags of potential, only turned 20 just over a month ago. Like the look of this guy, relatively low-risk transfer, consistent performer. We'll see how he develops. And lastly, the record transfer signed for £3 million. Brace yourself, you're going to be very underwhelmed. Alvin Stromberg. He doesn't have a work permit. Yeah, he he doesn't have a work permit, but he's 18 and we've signed him from Ajax, and Ajax produce good players. Now, to be fair, he was unhappy at Ajax. I do wonder if that might be down to his temperamental personality. Maybe they know something I don't. When I scouted him, he had 5-star potential. He joined us and it dropped. I'm going to hope my scouts were correct and my coaching staff don't know what they're talking about. Ultimately, though, he does look like he could be a very good centre-back. There's no real obvious gap in his game for his age. He's going to improve a lot, I would like to think. And yeah, I'm currently looking for a loan move out for him. There are some teams that have shown some interest. I hope he's going to come good. But ultimately, having made, if we just have a look at the transfer history here, £46 million in transfers out, I felt like taking a transfer risk on deadline day. Maybe this wasn't the right risk. There is one other player I've agreed to sign at the end of the season. That man is Raul Balado. He plays for a very familiar club to work the space for years. He plays for Racing Santander, a team with some really good youth facilities. They've produced this guy. He looks great at 19 years old. He kind of reminds me of a little baby Guerrero, who could be a good player down the line. Professional personality, lots to like about him. Doesn't join us to the end of the year, so we don't need to worry about him yet. And just for a little bit of a Guerrero update, if you're wondering how he's getting on, he has made 16 sub-appearances for Crystal Palace this year. If he plays 4 more games for them on off the bench or as a starter, then we get like £3 million. So if they want to play him a little bit more, that would be nice. He has scored in the Premier League as well, and well, he looks really, really good, doesn't he? I miss him. I really miss him. Anyway, you might have caught it on some earlier screens. In the Championship, we're in a good spot. We're 7th. We're 1 place off the playoffs. We're 2 points behind Sunderland. We have turned things around lately, but I will warn you now, I feel like this is a little bit of a false reading, perhaps. Of course, last episode we lost to West Brom. I was very annoyed about that. I was even more annoyed after we lost to Hull City. Of course, Hull City, who didn't offer Ferrarinson enough money, then decided to do this to us. Yeah, it finished 5-4. 5-4, that's a weird scoreline, isn't it? But having conceded 5 goals there, I felt like we had to do something to change up our shape and maybe fix things defensively. So what did I do? Well, I decided, as you can see from the formation used in recent games, to go back to the old faithful 4-2-2-2. Of course, this was the original system that we played. I feel like last year in League One, where we had a superior squad, you can afford to have a few passengers, and I think the Trequartista, when we didn't have the ball, was maybe a little bit of a passenger. This year in the Championship, we need everyone to pull their weight. And on top of that, of course, we have had a player who's injured at the moment. Actually, Murphy and Goma playing really, really well at attacking midfielder this year. And another man who's played really well this year is Sam Fay. But the critical issue here is they were both playing as centre attacking mids. I tried playing Fay as a striker. He was crap as a striker. So as a result of that, I thought if we change the system, they can both come in and play at centre attacking mids, and it might just help us out a bit defensively, because before we switch to the Trequartista, this did feel like a slightly more defensively solid shape. It has worked for us. And in fact, we've won 5 of our last 7 games, drawing 1, losing 1. I suppose the big caveat to all of this is only one of the teams we've played in this run of games is in the top 10. It has been a lot of the teams towards the bottom that I'd like to be winning against. Good news is we've got those results. We've maybe galvanised ourselves a little bit. You know, morale manager is in full swing. We have momentum, but now we hit a crunch point in the year where we have Stoke City away today and Charlton away. They're in 8th and 10th respectively. They are challenging for the playoffs as well. This is going to be a bit of a test. Anyway, we opened up this recent run of results with a draw against Southampton. 0-0 in this game, not maybe a disastrous result when you look at the scoreline. When you look at the performance, not really sure how we didn't win this game. They went down a man, and in the last 24 minutes, we really ramped up the pressure. Just couldn't find a way through. After that, a second clean sheet in a row was nice as we beat Reading 5-0. A 4-2 win followed against Wrexham, and then against a Sheffield United team down in the relegation zone, we won 3-1, and as you can see here, Madder picked up a hat-trick. One of his best performances so far. Really, really liking the look of this guy. The only defeat we've had in this run of games was against Norwich City. They are right up there challenging for the automatic promotion spots. When you look at the stats, I'd argue we were bloody unlucky. Bazunu for them got man of the matching goal. Yeah, he's quite a good goalkeeper in Football Manager. Frustrating day at the office. I actually felt like we played really well. Probably unfortunate not to get anything from this one. But we have responded well with 2 wins in our last 2 games. The first against Birmingham City required a last-minute winner from Oscar, a player who's been sensational in these last couple of games. Now has 16 goals for the season as well. You know, if there was a bit of a question mark over the Honduran, I feel like he's answered his critics. And in our most recent game, we beat Rotherham 4-2. This game here featured one of the goals of the season. 2-2 at half-time. We needed to find some inspiration, and I'll tell you who brought it. It was Cole K here, the first ever goal goal he scored in the Championship. It won Goal of the Month. We need to watch it. This was certainly one of those goals where when it went in, I scratched my eyes. He picks the ball up in his own half, comfortably in his own half, and he just runs and runs and runs and scores. Yeah, that was not a bad way to get ahead. We then scored almost immediately after that to make it 4-2, and we didn't look back. A massive win, and that inspirational goal really did turn the tide of that match. So with our recent run of form, as I mentioned, we are up to 7th, 2 points off Sunderland in 6th. Look at our goals scored. 90 goals scored for. Unfortunately, we have also conceded 60, which is that one of the worst in the league? It's one of the worst in the league. The XG table suggests that we should be higher up. I want to believe that maybe we can make a late push for the playoffs, but like I mentioned already, when you consider that we took on Sheffield United to a bottom, who else do we play in this run of games? Hull City, Reading, Birmingham, Southampton. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't a challenging set of games. Great to get those results, of course. These games today matter. And while the first of those games that we have today is against Stoke City, they are in 8th, we are in 7th, we are heading to the Bet365 Stadium. Take a point off them for the name already. It's time to do the first of 2 away days today. So for today's first away day, we are heading to Stoke. I've realised we've got the Charlton game. I feel like I've done the Charlton away day, but when I checked my records, I didn't. So we might go do Charlton after this one, get a sense of deja vu and cut it short. But one thing I know for certain is, I've not done Stoke before. Where is the stadium? I found the stadium. It looks like it's surrounded by a nice green area. Is the satellite view going to back up that claim? Actually, it does. I saw all these industrial estate kind of named places thinking, oh, is it going to be a bit... No, actually, it looks quite nice. Firstly, cracking car park. I'm not sure how much of this is used by the football club on game day, but if you need car parking, Stoke has it. And I'll tell you what, exceptional use of the space here. They have really worked the space with this car park. See what I did there? That was awful. Let's move on. You've got a nice river pond. Might be, I think it is a river next door. Train line as well. But the thing we really want to do is see, what can we see in the stadium? Oh my word, there's dots everywhere. They've gone around the whole car park. Can we just say respect to the Google Street View van that decided with the car park being completely empty, they were just going to drive around every single little bit. Look, we can go around the whole thing and oh, it's a sunny day. This actually looks really, really nice. September 2023. That's not that long ago. Up-to-date footage, blimey. Get your sunglasses out, everyone. It's a sunny day. I hate to admit it, I've just spent like 5 minutes looking for my sunglasses. I can't find them. I was going to make a whole sunglasses joke, and instead I've wasted 5 minutes of my life trying to find it. I'm annoyed about it, so I'm mentioning it to you guys so you know the production value could have been better today. I've let myself down. I have to say, in spite of the horrific sponsor name, which I really don't like, the actual stadium itself, it looks pretty good from the outside. I mean, you're not going to rock up here and go, are we at the right ground? We're definitely at Stoke. Now, there's all these dots on the inside, and dots on the inside of a stadium excite me. Does it mean that we can go on a point-and-click adventure? Can I go? We'll try elsewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I have infiltrated Stoke City Football Club. This must be the executive bit, mustn't it? This is not an ordinary foyer area when you enter a football club. It almost feels intimidating. I've sat looking for Peter Crouch's face on the wall. They've not got his picture here. I think that's disrespectful from Stoke, really. I am looking for a picture of Peter Crouch. That is the mission today. I mean, look... We've got Shaqiri's picture on the wall. Shaqiri's allowed on the wall at Stoke, but I can't find Peter Crouch. Right, I've got to go elsewhere. Also, what drinks we got in the bar? You know what? They've got Copperberg cider. I'll allow it. Good, okay drink choice, Stoke. I found the trophy room, but surely they have a picture of Peter Crouch in here. Peter? Pete. It's not Peter. Excuse me, have you seen a picture of Peter Crouch anywhere? Not at this bar. I don't mean this as a dig. I'm surprised at how full Stoke City's trophy cabinet is. Like, there is actually silverware and plates here. More plates than silverware, it has to be said. The only thing that can make today's away day better is if we find a picture of Peter Crouch. Isn't that Shaqiri again? I didn't realise there was so much hospitality space at Stoke City. We will go and look at the picture in a moment, but I'm desperate to find a picture of Peter Crouch. I don't think I'm going to go through every single dotted option here, but if I just click a few randomly, eventually I've got to find him, right? That's outside the stadium. Probably don't have a picture of him on the outside. I'm now going through individual box rooms trying to find a picture of Peter Crouch. He's not in this one. I hate to admit it, everyone, I'm going to have to give up looking for Peter Crouch. For people wondering, why is he looking for Peter Crouch? I mean, firstly, it's Peter Crouch. Secondly, he was my assistant manager in one of the earlier Park to Prem, so I feel like he has a special place in my heart. Anyway, here is Stoke City Stadium on the inside. Not the grandest of football coliseums in the world, but actually just quite nice, standard football ground. I mean that in like the least offensive way. Like, it doesn't feel like a ground that has anything super special going for it, but I mean, it's not bad. There's all this DPT branding. I think this is the DPD stand here. As someone who is a DHL Ultra from my F1 manager days, I feel dirty just being in this spot of the ground. I shouldn't be here. Like, it's not a bad stadium. It's quite modern. It's a bit samey on all sides. I mean, if I want to, give them some credit, they've got a pretty surprisingly nice screen. I didn't think they'd have a screen as good as that at Stoke, with respect to Stoke. It's not been a sexy away day. I had some fun and excitement playing Where's Peter Crouch, even if I couldn't find him. Yeah, I mean, it's not sexy, but it is Stoke, so we all knew that heading into things today. The Bet365 Stadium, I'm giving you a 6 out of 10. It would have been a 6.5, maybe 7 if your name wasn't a betting sponsor. Sort it out. Anyway, in terms of matchday squad news today, Ngoma is currently out injured. That, of course, is less than ideal. Given the fact he scored the goal of the month last month, Cole K here is coming back into the team. Our Bolivian boy signed from the strongest. Just as a reminder, he has 9 strength. He's going to get a run out in the first team here. He impressed me last game, played well, hasn't really had that many opportunities. But with players like Xenia not really performing to the level I need them to perform to, it just feels like a pretty good opportunity to bring him into the team. Elsewhere, Kamara makes the bench. I have decided to ditch the right-back experiment. Not because I don't think he could be a good right-back, but because his versatility attribute is so low in Football Manager, he's just not learning the position very quickly. And given the fact we're going back to this narrower system, I feel like he can serve a purpose for us. He has been playing here infrequently. You can see from his recent form in the last 20 games. Been giving him a few more chances. Has not impressed in them. Speaking of not impressing, Martinez, the new right-back from Chile. I mean, he's not new anymore, is he? He's been crap, I'll be honest. 20 starts this year. He has not played very well. So, Ricky D fans, shake your fist, bump it, rejoice. He has been playing a lot of minutes lately back in the first team. He's been playing really, really well. He got 2 assists in our game against Birmingham City where we won 2-1. Yeah, this guy is just immortal. He's going to be here to the end, I feel like. You might have also noticed it, João Victor currently coming back from a long-term injury. He has missed a whole lot of football with a hamstring injury. In fact, he's had a couple of injuries in the last few months. We've basically missed him for the last 2.5 months, the defence in mid. As a result of that, Stuart Masters has been playing more and more in the first team. He has stepped up his performances lately. He is going to slot right into the team to play alongside Sanchez, the deep line playmaker, who used to have the player trait play short, simple passes. We managed to get him to forget that. Right now, I'm trying to teach him to play killer balls. I feel like this guy's very, very good. Minor concern, he is declining a bit as a player. But ignore that. On the pitch, he's playing great. So it is going to be a live commentary debut today for Madder. Very, very excited to see how he gets on. I'm wearing a Sweden shirt for the occasion, so he better not let me down. He's been very, very reliable as a striker alongside Oscar. The two of them, they kind of have that little and large relationship going on. It's like Peter Crouch and Jermaine Defoe or something, except one of them's Honduran and the other's Swedish. Stoke is the home team for this game. They're playing 3 centre-backs with 2 wing-backs and 2 defensive mids. It's an annoying shape to break down in Football Manager. And also, what's going on with the lighting and the match engine today? Why does it look like we're playing during the Industrial Revolution? Why is everything all musty and dirty? I don't know what's happening. Ricky D struggling to see what's going on in the box, although he might get another chance to put the ball in here. Cole K's under it. The Bolivian from the strongest. He's not good in the air. I wasn't really expecting him to win that. Stoke are now going to look to launch it long. They've got 3 players to aim for, the centre attacking mid and their 2 strikers. Their game plan, I think, is going to be to hit us on the break. Can we make the most of things going forward? I feel like this is the kind of game where if we get an early goal, suddenly there's pressure on them to come onto the front foot. Maybe that can then open them up. Cole K here turns his man really nicely, plays it across to Niele. Options in the middle for Madder to pick out. Goes back to Ricky D, who shoots. And I don't know why he shot there. That was awful. And DIA, the throw-in on the far side. We lays it inside. I know that's not how to say his name. People still keep correcting me in the comments. I realise people don't watch every episode. I know it's not how his name's said, but then I can't say his normal name correctly to the tune of YMCA, so it's not as fun. Anyway, Sanchez, N-D-I-A, I don't know why I'm dancing. It's 1-0. I'll admit it, I've got carried away with the occasion there. The left back getting all involved. Ricky D played it across. Sanchez adds another assist for the year. On his weaker foot, scores from outside the box. You love to see it. We're having 64% of possession right now in this game, dominating the ball. Stoke really struggling to create a great deal, although with their shape, they are set up to absorb pressure. Sanchez is going to take the corner here. He should go short to Oscar. That should be the game plan here. And indeed it is. Oscar, on his left foot, getting into the box, forces a great save out the goalkeeper. I will also apologise for the match engine today. Why is it so foggy and musty? Is it like this in Stoke? I know I said Stoke's not sexy. I feel like this is really doing it a disservice, though. I have seen these lighting conditions before in the match engine. I think it will fix itself in the second half. I mean, I hope it does. Stoke City with a corner, whipping it towards the back post. It goes over absolutely everyone. Ricky D manages to keep it in play. He could have let it go out for a goal kick, but the man has intent. We get it forward. Nielay there. Fantastic, dogged performance to win that. He only has 2 jumping reach, but he will battle for the ball. He's like a little Jack Russell Terrier. He might be small, but he has energy and beans, and he will work his butt off. NDIA. He's going forward again. He scored again. It's 2-0. It's really annoying. His contract's up at the end of next year, and he won't sign a new deal with me. And he's like 18 years old. I really need him to sign a new contract. Oh, God. I should be celebrating the fact he scored another, and instead I'm having a crisis inside knowing I need to somehow convince him to stay. I mean, what a goal that is. I mean, I'm looking at the left-back thinking, do you want your hat-trick? You've scored, a couple. If we get a penalty, he's definitely having it. Ricky D, Mkize, back to Ricky D, the man who was with us in the Vanarama National North, now with us in the Championship, putting it into the box, setting up Jose Luis for his second goal in 2 games. It's 3-0 here. Stoke City being embarrassed. They call Ricky D the mailman, and they call him that because he always delivers. Look at the number 2 to the byline, floats it in. Players in the box competing for it, but in the end, the man from the strongest actually won a header. I'm surprised too. I'm not being funny, he has got 5 jumping reach. We are not the most tall and imposing team in the world, are we, in the box? I say that knowing that Madder literally has 2 jumping reach and is 169 centimetres tall. He looks very small in the match engine. You're doing brilliantly, keep it going. I mean, that is all I need to say, isn't it? We've been so good in that first half. If results go our way in other games, we could be in the playoffs for the first time all season today. I say that Sunderland are currently winning. Oh, they're winning 3-0. Okay, well, we're not going into the playoffs today. But, it's good for the goal difference and stuff. We have got a very big game against Charlton coming up, so I am going to make some changes here. Kamara's going to come in for Faye, who's actually been one of our out-of-form players. I'm trying to persist with him. He's let us down there. Elsewhere, João Victor's coming back from injury. I want to bring him back into the fray. Madder's not had the craziest of games on his debut, so we'll bring in Toby Hines, who's had a fair share of injury issues this year, but he is back, ready and raring to go in the first team now. And you know what? Let's make it I was going to say a trio of changes, but there's 4 of them. A quadruple of changes? That doesn't sound right. Espinoza, on you come. There's one player I've not mentioned much this year, and people have probably noticed it by now. Jude. Jack, where's Jude? I'll be honest, he is just our 5th choice striker at this point. Of course, Soonsup Bell joined us in the National League. He's not done well this year. We have goal scorers. We've got another. Ricky D's got another assist. There's players like Jude who maybe look slightly better than Ricky D, in kind of attribute terms, although he's still not that much better, who just don't perform at this level. Ricky D's attribute suggests he should not be doing it in League One. Here he is tearing it up in the Championship. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, look at him. Look at it. It shouldn't be happening, but it just is. He's so good. It's as if getting rid of the trequartista, it's just let him go wild. He's allowed his territory in front of him to run back into as that lone wide option. To be fair, him and NDIA in this game have been absolutely phenomenal. We win this game 4-0. No dramas, no worries. And, it's great for the goal difference. Shame Sunderland, I assume, have won. They were 3-0 up. So sadly, I can confirm Sunderland did also win. They only won 3-1 in the end, so we've got a little bit of goal difference over on them. Elsewhere, Charlton, who we play our very next game, managed to win against Ipswich Town, who are up in 5th. So that's a really big result for Charlton. A win for them will move them even on points with us. With 10 games left of the year, we are in the playoff hunt. I'm going to say it now. We're in it to win it. Didn't really mention it during the game. Kamara scored. Obviously, Ricky D assisted him, and I got carried away with that. That is Kamara's 2nd ever goal for the team. Yeah, I think he's just going to have to start playing at centre attacking mid. The right-back adventure is well and truly over. Always a bit concerning when you win a game and then the head physio's kind of flagging players for fitness concerns. It has been a long season. We have got Charlton coming up. For some reason, like last episode, I thought this game was midweek and it's just not. We get a week of rest ahead of the Charlton game. They're in 8th, we're in 7th. We will be doing an away day to the Valley. Let's get right into it. Tragic news for away day fans. Charlton away. I started recording it. Then I realised I've definitely done this before. Bizarrely, it was this angle here of the back of the stand that made me go, yeah, I've been down this dodgy road with the blue garages before. It all came back to me. If you do just want to have a little look at the stadium, here it is in all its glory with their superstore. Okay, I'm fine. And while it's a nice ground, you know, it's the former Premier League ground once upon a time in the Valley, we've been here before. Also, that is the font from Modern Warfare. Like COD MW2, the original MW, the one, 10, 15 years ago. The font, I think, is called Bank Gothic. God, I am a nerd. Now, the reason I had some away day confusion was because I actually have a spreadsheet that a viewer sent me at the end of last year's series that had all my scores. Charlton weren't in the list, but I definitely have done that Charlton away day. The Valley, I don't know what I scored you last time, but Superstore, 1 out of 10. Anyway, it has been a week since the last game. The board takeover stuff has no updates. There has been no youth intake either, so we just have to sit and wait for next episode. So in terms of team news for today's game, Ngoma back from injury. Love to see that he is going to slot in straight at the left attacking mid spot. Elsewhere, I am going to start Hines for today's game as the advanced forward on that right-hand side. We are going to give Madder, I was going to say we give him a rest. He doesn't really need a rest, but he wasn't amazing last game. Also, what an impact sub this kind of player is to have on off the bench against a tiring defence. João Victor is a player still coming back from injury, need to get him back up to full fitness. He is also unhappy at the moment. Leeds United came in on deadline day and I told him no. That was over a month ago. He then got injured and he's still not forgotten about it. So for those reasons and the fact that Masters has been in some good form, he is going to hold down the centre defensive mid spot. He might not be as good on paper, but on the pitch, this man's been doing the business. The previous result against Stoke was an absolutely amazing one. I'm going to hope that we can follow it up with a similar result in this one here. They are playing a 4-2-4. We're playing the 4-2-2 narrow, which is essentially their tactic, but without the wide players. This is probably going to be a high-scoring game. I went here for Charlton. Can't take them above us in the league, although it could take them even on points. We would have the goal difference edge. Draws have really cost us this year, and the fact that there's a highlight inside the first 20 seconds kind of terrifies me. Mkize makes a tackle. For a moment there, I was sat waiting for the penalty to be given. It's not been given, and now we're looking... Well, I thought, to make something happen on the break. It falls out to Campbell. Pablo Moreno is through, and Pablo Moreno scores. 40 seconds in. What a contrast to the last game against Stoke. I thought here Oscar was going to be able to maybe turn and get the pass forward. Instead, he was caught out in possession. Campbell with loads of space, played it inside him. Mkize left trying to deal with two men. Never going to end well for him. They take an early lead. That is a little bit frustrating. I love the fact that the game reckons this was a tight offside. You know what? It was actually tight. But he was on. So this is completely irrelevant. Okay, Kinski with the ball at the back for us. I feel like the Czech goalkeeper, he's not really been a massive upgrade on Keeley. I feel like his average rating is around a 6.9, but his distribution there was not bad. We're actually on the attack with loads of players forward. Faye puts it in. Oscar puts it into the stand. Charlton's only shot on target inside the first half an hour was that shot in the first, 40 seconds to a minute? Yeah, they are still ahead in this game. They are, well, defending quite well. It would appear apparent by the fact there's no further highlights happening. We are approaching half-time. 5 minutes of added time. They did have a player injured in the 4th minute. Nothing's going to happen there. It's 1-0 at the break. What an awful half. I'm going to get shouty. What was that? Lads, we want to be pushing for the playoffs. There is a chance here. There is a window of opportunity. We have to jump through the window. I am looking at our attacking kind of players and thinking, I've got to make some changes here if they don't step it up early in this half. And Mkize has the ball. All of them kind of on 6.5 ratings. I feel like if attacking players don't get a goal or an assist, they don't get a good rating in Football Manager anyway. Oscar missed a chance. Hines, well, I thought for a moment might have an opportunity there. He might still have an opportunity. Oscar finds the back of the net. I apologise for throwing him under the bus. He scores his 17th of the year. Don't really mention it enough. Oscar has 10 finishing. You know, to the finishing merchants out there, the people who tell me in the comment section, you can't have strikers with bad finishing. Oscar, He disagrees. Ignore the fact he's underperforming his XG. That's irrelevant. Okay, we're coming up to an hour played in this game. I am going to bring in Madder for Heinz. I feel like Niele, I think it said Niele because it's like the Swedish hockey player, Nylander. Niele, Madder's just a cool name, isn't it? I might just nickname him Madder. We can have Madder and Oscar. Either way, I'm bringing him on in this game. Didn't really mention it earlier. He is on £8,000 a week, which, to be fair, for his ability is perhaps more than reasonable. Just in the context of our squad, it makes him a joint highest earner. Masters has also picked up a knock, so João Victor is going to come in. And Goma, not impressed me today. You know what? It's time for Kolke to come in and show us what he's made of. He is the world's strongest Bolivian. He's now on the football pitch. He got a goal last game, to be fair. Perhaps can feel a bit hard done by to be dropped, but obviously Ngoma's the kind of man who, when he's fit, when he's ready to go, you bring him in. Maybe, though, we can find a way through here. We've got some real attacking talent, I feel like. You know, some of the players we've signed over the course of this year and the summer and even the winter have left us in a position where in games like this where we need to chase it, we can bring on some really good players. Oscar's in. And Oscar really should have scored. It's a great save by the keeper. We do still have a corner. Oscar, he's just fluffed his lines. Could he make amends immediately? He gives it to Kolke, who's going to play it back to Sanchez. Oscar, lovely build-up play. Mkize back to goal. Gives it to Ricky D, who I really thought was going to score for a moment. Oh, okay. Charlton have now got a corner of their own. It's whipped in. Gasperi half heads it away, but Gradim gives it to Wilson Esbrand. Mitchell at the edge of the box, plays it wide. Ricky D, he's been quiet today, but he's got it to Madder. Madder can run. Madder is quick. Madder runs straight into them, although, well, we've still maybe got the ball here as Oscar is battling away for it on the near side. A battering ram of a forward. He's got players to aim for. Kolke is one of them in the box. Plays it to the edge of the box. NDIA. João Victor, the Brazilian, scores his first goal of the season. He might want to go to Leeds United. He's not going to Leeds United. He's got, I think, a 4-year deal with us with an optional 3-year or 2-year extension. I don't need to let the youngster go. I've just noticed that may have deflected in. Don't let that distract you from the fact he has scored. We're back ahead. I say we're back ahead. We were never ahead before that moment, but we've got ahead now, and well, we are looking for another. We are going for the jugular. Charlton got that early goal. Since then, they have done absolutely diddly squat in this game. Braun to Anderson. Of course, this is the kind of Football Manager game that feels dangerous, doesn't it? When you play these kind of games in Football Manager, you get scared of them. The longer it remains a 1-goal game whilst we are massively on top, the more apprehensive I am going to be to get too carried away. Gradim with the ball for them. Going forward on his lonesome, pulls the trigger. Kinski, first time all game since the first minute he's been called into action, makes a decent little save. We do still have the corner to try and deal with here. They've got Kirbishley over it. Is that a relative of Alan Kirbishley, do we reckon? You know, former Charlton manager? I need to check. Aaron Kirbishley, it's a regen, but could it be a regen who's actually related? He's not related. Apparently he could be the next Declan Rice. I thought he might be related to Alan Kirbishley since he plays for Charlton. He's on loan from Fulham. The magic's ruined. Okay, 10 minutes left in this game. Set piece for us here. Sanchez, can you put the ball on a plate for someone? Mkize's there, nods it down. Gasperi's shot goes wide. NDIA was in a heap on the floor. Whistle hasn't gone, and that was a chance. 3 minutes left of the game here. I'm going to make a couple of changes just to try and see this game out. NDIA struggling a little bit for fitness. He's had a good game, but he needs a rest. Elsewhere, Sanchez on a yellow card. He's looking tired. We'll bring in Kamara for him. Kamara can't really play deep line playmaker. I'm going to make the change I've done on occasion when I bring in Kamara, which is that I play him as a centre mid, box to box. It's like a slightly more advanced Segundo Volante. I really don't want to train him to play defensive mid, but I need him to come on here. 8 minutes of added time to try and see out here. I've said that with some exasperation. I don't feel under threat from Charlton. Might live to regret that. We have a chance here. Oscar, he's not in a rush to take this. Expert time wasting. Peak CONCACAF football there. Sam Fay takes it down, gives it back wide to Oscar. Could play it to Gasperi, does play it to Gasperi. Ricky D is there. And I'll tell you what, this episode's been all about Ricky D. Shame he couldn't score, but with 2 minutes of added time, well, I was going to say it might all be over. It might not be yet. There's still a minute left in this game. João Victor, the goal scorer for us, gives it to Kamara, playing as that box-to-box midfielder, could shoot from range, does shoot from range. It was almost a goal of the season contender. Late corner here with 45 seconds left. This is all about just seeing out this game now. Oscar, I mean, look at it. He learnt that playing in CONCACAF. You can see the time wasting. It's next level over there. Also, we do have great representation around the world in our football team, don't we? We've won this game here 2-1. It is 2 massive results. Did Sunderland win? That is the big question all of a sudden. Did Sunderland win? They didn't win. What happened to Sunderland? Where are they? They drew 1-1 against Birmingham City, who are in 17th. I don't want to get carried away. We're in the playoffs. Everyone remain calm. Bloody hell. Could we? Just to be clear, when I say could we, I mean could we make the playoffs? I really don't expect us to win in the playoffs, but I'll tell you what, with the results we've had today, with the form that we're suddenly in, you can see here, Jason Land's our coach. He's targeting promotion. Jason, by the way, has been a coach at the club since I arrived. In fact, he was the caretaker manager when I came in. I've kept him around. He's on an NA contract. I think it is a bugged contract where he's just here forever. He gets £45 per appearance, but he's a coach. He's just staying here now. I don't get it either. Also, in some extra nice news to end today's episode, Stromberg, the record transfer, is going on loan to Iceland. Not only mums go to Iceland. That joke was awful. I feel like I didn't elaborate on this guy enough earlier. I signed him for £3 million. He doesn't have a work permit. For people wondering, why did you sign him? Firstly, my staff were bigging him up. Secondly, he plays for Ajax, so I thought he must be good. And thirdly, because I just wanted to spend some money and it was deadline day. Anyway, today's results were absolutely massive. Had we slipped up in them, the playoffs probably ends up being beyond reach again. Like I already mentioned though, we are far from done. Sunderland we are battling directly against. We actually play them at home at the end of the month. That will also correspond with around the time when the youth intake happens. So I think next time out we will do Sunderland at home and follow that up with Nottingham Forest, who are top of the league away. If we can continue in the vein of form we're currently in, genuinely, we are a good shot of making the playoffs. Will we have a board takeover happen next episode? Will we have had our youth intake? I bloody hope so, otherwise the game is bugged. You'll find out the answer to those questions and more next time out. I'll see you guys next time. It is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm out.